can't remember now.
Oh, have you done all your questions?
I've done it, but I had something I wanted to ask. Oh yeah, right. So in the UK, we have the NHS. So, you know, we have a free medical system over here. In Hong Kong, I know it's not free. So how did the government do any kind of special subsidizing, or, you know, say as an exemption, if it's COVID, is it going to be free, or, you know, because it's not free, has it had some kind of negative impact?
I think that's a good question. Again, I do not know.
Okay.
Just because mine is covered, like with my company, healthcare is part of it. So I think I think with COVID, it is kind of like an automatic, like you will get treated sort of situation, as far as I know.
Because I can imagine in countries where you know, you have to pay for medical care, it will put people off, right? You know, the bills that they would potentially have to pay to get.
Yeah, I believe COVID is you do get treated for free, and that's why there was the whole extra people coming into Hong Kong.
Right.
I think that was one of the thing, but again, because I'm not very in touch with things like that, just because I'm quite a lucky position.
Within your company, you're covered for testing, you're covered for your medical. So
but regardless, any sort of so I don't really pay too much attention to that. And because like people that I know closest to me, like even work colleagues, I haven't heard anyone who had COVID, so I wouldn't even know. Most of it are people you see on the news. So.
We've been lucky that we've not really. No, I don't think we've known anyone who's had it, or.
Well, without naming names, we do know.
Oh, sorry, we do. Yeah. I forgot.
Just forgot about that friend.
Right at the beginning in March, a couple of friends of ours.
And they were tested. Were they tested, or
they weren't tested because right back in March, you know, we just didn't have anything in place, and people were just told to isolate, really, especially if your case is not severe. So our friend was in Birmingham, contracted it in Birmingham, and they came to our town to see their partner. So they had it. They had to isolate. Their partner caught it as well with them, and at the time, you would go online and you tell them your symptoms. I think someone calls you back to see, you know, have a talk with you. But unless it got really bad, you were just told to just stay at home until it passed. So that's right. What happened.
Yeah, there was no testing. You're right. Yeah.
We've heard of people. Obviously, we've heard of people who've had contact with other people who've had it, and we've heard of things like, you know, our friend had a loss of, I can't remember if it was loss of taste or loss of smell, but that was one of the symptoms they had, and that was right back in March. And I remember at the time that was not something that was heavily kind of published, that people knew it was a symptom, but that was what they told me at the time. And I remember thinking that was quite an interesting symptom to have. And then I've heard my auntie's boss basically had it, and then even after they recovered, they still had that loss of smell or taste. Like they still had that symptom even though they recovered from COVID. So yeah, just quite interesting to hear of these things. I know someone who was in like a religious, you know, they're in a religious group, and someone in that religious group actually passed away from COVID. So that was another one I heard about. But yeah, it so far, touch wood, we've been blessed that no one like really close, or, you know, and we've obviously not had it. But I do hear from people saying, you know, back in February, you know, when it was cold and people had the flu or colds, and they're like saying, oh, maybe I had it and I didn't know. And so no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't know. That's kind of like, I think I've covered everything, but Did you guys have anything you think I didn't cover? Or you want to say?
You go, Mandy. If you
can't think. You're the host.
It felt kind of thorough, very thorough question.
I think people will be interested. I think people will be interested to see, like, you know, similarities, differences. I mean, what's been the perception of in Hong Kong of other countries like the US, like the UK and Europe, or, you know, what's been the perception of how other countries are handling it?
I don't think they've really discussed it. I think the whole face mask thing is, they don't really understand why people aren't wearing it. So, but I feel like people are just busy minding their own business, that they don't really care too much. I mean, I feel like we compare our situation with nearby countries a lot, especially with like Taiwan, where the whole mask shortage here, the way Taiwan did it was they were selling face masks. I think there was like, you can buy 3 per day with your ID. So with that measurement in place, that means that everyone will still be able to get face masks in very limited quantities. So I thought that was such a genius idea, because here people panic buy and they're just, you know, stashing loads of face masks. So I think they sort of, like, Hong Kong people compared that with
where they just restricted it, that you could only buy so much per day.
So the government had that, and they stopped exports of face masks to China, I think, and that was an issue within their own country. But I thought taking care of the citizens of Taiwan first was a very good move with the Taiwanese government, and that was something that we should have done, to be honest.
Do you have groups in Hong Kong who are anti-lockdown, you know, kind of like any of those kind of, you know, this is imposing on our freedoms, on our liberties? No. You don't have people like that as like you have over here, right?
Oh, you're very lucky.
I don't understand this whole freedom thing. I mean, it's just,
I think it's the cultural difference again. Like,
I just don't want people to be told what to do by the government.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a freedom thing, though. You're just being told to wear a face mask. It's not really taking away anything.
Groups.
There are groups.
They do. That's what they argue. They're saying this is imposing on our civil liberties. Well, I have the right to not to wear a face mask.
It's kind of like telling you not to kill someone. Well, is that taking away your freedom? It's just doing something that is, I don't know, common sense, I guess. It's not really, I don't really understand it, but yeah.
Just wondered if there was like a small group of people over there that are like that. That's all.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Really.
It's just.
I mean, there might be 1 or 2 individuals who are like that, but they get shamed so badly. So.
No, it's.
See, you don't have this problem, I imagine, in shops where security would have to, you know, tell someone, put your mask on, and then there would be a fist fight. This happens in the UK, right?
People get abused here.
Like once or twice in McDonald's, but that's like very rare. Like, it's almost unheard of that someone would refuse to wear a face mask.
Here it's the staff feel like why should we get ourselves into this situation, you know, because the government has imposed this, so the staff don't impose it. Because, you know, if you're thinking you're working in a supermarket, you're getting paid minimum wage, this customer has decided then that they don't want to wear a face mask. You know, why should you try and impose this rule on them when maybe you're going to get spat at, maybe they're going to cough at you, you know, maybe there will be arguments and physical violence, or, you know, there's this issue that is happening over here, which I.
You guys have someone standing at the entrance, taking people's like temperatures and
no, we don't have any of that.
They will have people counting the numbers in and out, but not temperatures. No.
Okay, so for us here, pretty much I think 99% of the storefronts, like restaurants or any shops or even like shopping malls, the entrance of it, you have to have your temperature taken and then hand sanitized, like right at the door. So I guess if you don't wear a face mask, then you're just not welcomed into private property, and that makes sense as well. So I guess for someone, if you're already in the supermarket and for them to tell you to wear one, it's a bit too late, and it just kind of defeats the whole purpose to begin with. So I do understand why shopkeepers feel like, well, why should I have to go the extra mile when they're already here?
Yeah, so there's this enforcement is a big issue over here. I think that's one of the, we have an issue with enforcement.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna, obviously this is a really long video, so I'm gonna.
You've got a lot of editing to do to get this down to the 15-minute YouTube limitation.
So
maybe it's just like.
So thank you very much for. I know it's late in Hong Kong, so thank you very much for offering your views and letting us know what's happening over there. And I know this is still an ongoing issue, and we're all hoping around the world for the vaccine. And when it does come, I'm sure there'll be another debate on, because there are people over here who don't believe in vaccines. I think everywhere in the world there are people who don't believe in vaccines. So that will be the next fight. The next fight. But when it arrives, that will be good. So thank you very much for this, and we hope you enjoyed this week's YouTube video. I'm probably going to cut it into parts because it'll be too long. So thank you very much, and see you, Jackie.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.